Hey, what's up guys, it's Lego Hobo 910 here with another Lego video, and in this video I'm reviewing set number 75174, Desert Skiff Escape. And before we get into the review, there's something I want to mention. The minifig composition for this set is pretty hard, because I think that you really need Luke and Lando in this set, because also you don't have all the complete characters that would make sense for the set. Though I'm glad that, because in all the other previous Desert Skiff sets it came with Luke and Lando, so I'm glad that they put in some different characters, but I wish they also had Luke and Lando, because they are very important to this scene. But then again, that would make it 4 good guys to 2 villains, and in the real movie there were a bunch of villains, so then you would think maybe just add, I don't know, 2 more Skiff guards or pirates or just a Gamorrean guard or something. But then again, that'd be 8 minifigs for a really small set, and they really wouldn't all fit in this area well, so I think they should have at least added Luke, Lando, and 1 more Skiff guard or Gamorrean guard or some pirate or something. But that's just my personal opinion, and now let's get right into the review. Starting off with the smallest build, like always, we have the Sarlacc, and I'm actually really disappointed in this. I think that it was a horrible idea to give it the beak here. That's in the 2011 Special Edition, which was absolutely horrible. I wish they would have just kept it with the original just pit of teeth with a few tentacles, and also, once again, it has more tentacles because it's the 2011 Special Edition version. And this doesn't really look like a pit because they built up the sand to the Sarlacc. I think they could have made it look a lot more pit-like by, first of all, getting rid of the beak, getting rid of that giant bump in the center, and having it be really low in the center and then slowly raise it up to the sides, and then just kind of have a steep slope going out from the sides. And I think that would make it look a lot more pit-like, and then just include the teeth and a few tentacles, not as many tentacles as they did include. So yeah, I'm really disappointed with this, and also it has a feature that doesn't really work well, where if you pull this up, it opens the jaw, and that's pretty cool, and then you let go and it closes it. Except the problem with this is the tentacle normally doesn't look straight up, so these are normally leaning to one side, looking awful, so you can kind of balance it sometimes if you get lucky. Yeah, like that. But it doesn't really work that well. And also, this isn't even the right color for the beak of the Sarlacc. The Sarlacc beak was more like a tan here, like on the Desert Skiff, this dark tan color. It isn't this weird orangish color. So I think the previous Sarlacc that they did in the previous Desert Skiff Escape, that still had the beak, but it was tan, I think that was better, even though it still was a 2011 Special Edition. But I just think they should stop doing the 2011 Special Edition and just do it with the pit with no beak and no extra tentacles. But that's just my opinion. If you do like the 2011 Special Edition, which then you're minority, this might be fine, but then again, it's not really a pit, and the feature here doesn't really work too well. Though you can kind of semi-fit Boba Fett in there. His antenna sticks out a little bit. But if you just take that off or bend it in some other way, you can probably fit him in there. So that's a bonus. So now we have the main build, the Desert Skiff. And overall, I really like the look of this, and I think it is a pretty good design. There are a few things I dislike, though, which I will be pointing out during the review. And overall, I like the shaping, though. I like the use of these big panels. And normally I complain if they use too many big panels, because then it doesn't really feel like a truly Lego build. But I do appreciate that they use big panels, because I don't think the shaping would be possible using just normal bricks, so I like that. And also, while we're at it, on the bottom here, there's some clear pieces with slider plates on it, clear 2x2 circles with clear slider plates on them. So that lets it kind of look like it's gliding along the desert. Though, there's a problem with those. I think that A, they should be higher, or B, they should have improved the Sarlacc, or both. Because this doesn't really look like you can drop people into the Sarlacc off of it. So I think it needs to be higher. Like, maybe 3 or 4 bricks higher, and then maybe something that they did with a previous Desert Skiff is put some sand on the bottom to give it a stronger, sturdier base. So I think they should have included like 3 or 4 more bricks up there and made it a bit thicker, so that way you can actually drop people into the Sarlacc, because right now you can't really drop people in. The Sarlacc's higher than that, but back to the Skiff itself. It also has this little front design here, which is made with a hinge. And I think that gives it some better angling. And also, I mean, I guess that can be considered a play feature, but it's not really. And they could very easily put a spring-loaded shooter or very easily a stud shooter there, but I'm glad that they didn't, because I feel like a bunch of times LEGO just throws spring-loaded shooters and stud shooters into places they don't make sense, and this wouldn't make sense, so I'm glad they didn't put it there. And then the railing here is made with flex tubing. I appreciate the huge amount of use on this of flex tubing. There's also some being used back there, and those create nice handrails and shaping, which I really like. And if we remove the minifigs, you can see the deck a bit better. Well, and it looks like the Skiff guard here decided to show this feature here. This whole section is just held on by 2 studs there, so it can easily be removed. And there's a compartment there with Han's gun, and I think it was a cool concept, though I think, as you can see, this is very thick. I think they should have sunk that down into the deck, and maybe had this like a plate or 2 above the deck, because this creates some big, weird, odd bump. So I wish that would have been sunken down more. And the ledge could be useful for playability, like posing minifigs. That way they look kind of like they're leaping down on other characters, except I feel like it's just too big of a bump. Though I do like these tan rails here. I feel like they should have found some way to kind of extend them into the back here, and also right there, except not there. And the reason I don't think they should have extended it there is because that's where the plank is. As you can see, this sticks out a bit, and you can just pull that out. And then I love the fact that they left some studs on the end there, so you can attach a minifig there, about to get pushed into the Sarlacc, and that's where Luke would be, but once again, they didn't include Luke. Or also, you can just push that on the back. And this actually does slide out really easily. You just tip it slightly, and that slides out. And then there's also the back console here. And I feel like it's kind of restricting here because there's just this little space and you really can't sneak minifigs through there. But there's the console where you can set your Skiff guard to control it. And once again, if we had another bad guy, villain, Skiff guard, Gamorrean guard, pirate something, we could put it there and then have it driving while we have the Skiff guard managing the heroes. But once again, we don't have those minifigs. That's definitely my biggest complaint about the set. And that's just a pretty commonly used piece there. I've seen that in a lot of sets. And then it also has these little stabilizer fins here, which can be spun around and posed up and down. Though they would normally be in a position kind of like how I had them. Though once again, since this is too low, they kind of drag a bit on the ground. In fact, they should be kind of like that. Except you can't really do that. As you can see when I set it down, it raises that fin a bit. So once again, this can be very easily solved if they made this just the slightest bit higher. Though I do like the shaping of the fins. They used an antenna piece and a staff piece to create this little beam there. I like the circle. The overall shaping is pretty good. And then the other one is just a mirror image of it. And I also do like that they put some shaping on the bottom of the hull here. And also right there, they used kind of a big piece. I'm kind of sad that they did that. I wish they would have used just smaller pieces there. And also while we're at the back, there's this little ledge with just a few studs, so you can have characters kind of fight around there. There really isn't that much room, but it is usable space, so I like that. Overall, it's a pretty decent build. There are a few problems, such as this should be sunk down more and it's not high enough. But overall, I think it's a pretty good Skiff. So now we have the minifigs. First up is my favorite minifig from the set. It's Boba Fett. Boba Fett where? Please, people get the reference. Please be me not the only one who's super nerdy. But yeah, this is Boba Fett, and I'm pretty sure this isn't a new Boba Fett. Pretty sure he's come out in a few more sets. But if he is new, the only variation would be his weapon, which isn't really what I would consider new minifigs. And there might be a bit of slight difference printing. And if he is new, I think the thing that would be new is the tan hands. Don't quote me on that, though. I like the cloth piece here in the olive green, and I love how it's not perfectly shaped. It's kind of ripped up. Looks really good. The helmet has decent printing, and let's just move the gun, which is just a pistol piece here with a lightsaber handle attached to it. And something that I think LEGO should start doing is they should start making different molded guns. instead of just using the traditional ones and then adding on to them. Like, they could have made Boba Fett's gun, and by the way, you can buy specific Star Wars guns on Brick Arms. Thought I'd let you know that. But I think they should start making specific guns, especially for characters who have completely different guns than what they could normally make out of Lego, like Boba Fett. Because his gun looks nothing like this. It has some weird kind of guard that goes around, but yeah, whatever. Onto the minifig itself. I think the helmet printing is really good. Really like that. They even included that little dent on his helmet. They included some little yellow markings around the sides. Silver on the side there. Also, it's in sand green. Most of the minifig here is in sand green. Also, I like the fact that they sprinkled in the occasional little bit of silver to make it look scratched up and used. Looks really good, and it has this little antenna which just clips into a hole on the side of it. And I think when they package these, they just don't do it with one of those. They always come in a bag with 3 of those and 3 visors. So there's also 3 visors and 2 more of those antenna. So, I mean, I guess you could give Boba Fett a visor, or, I mean, you could stick 2 antenna on him and have him look kind of like a Batman version of Boba Fett. I'm not going to try to stick that on right there, but Batman Boba Fett. Or you could put the visor on, but, I mean, those aren't really accurate. But I guess you can do it if you want to. Really like the leg printing. There's quite a lot of detail there. There's even a bit of toe printing. Yellows, greens, and dark tans, and reds, and silvers. It looks really nice. He also has this sand green jetpack piece, which just goes around the neck. The front printing is really good. Once again, it has a bunch of silver to make it look scuffed up. It also includes a little braid there. Little belt there made out of brown there. And also little yellow smudges and spots. It just looks very realistic, and you can see some wrinkling for clothes underneath. I don't really like the tan hands, though I think they should be gray. On his head is just Angry Clone, which is really disappointing. I mean, technically he's a clone, but they've made very cool Boba Fett heads where it has like a scar and some stubble, so I think they should have used that instead of just an Angry Clone head. I think that was very lazy on them. Now with his cape and jetpack taken off, you can see the front printing a bit better, but now you can see the back printing. And they put a decent amount of work in here and guaranteed it's going to be covered up by the jetpack most of the time. And the belt carries around, and the armor carries around, once again, silver and yellow detailing to make it look scuffed up and worn and used. Little wrinkles for the cloth underneath. A little bit kind of drooping over the belt. Really like that. And I really like this in minifig, except for that Angry Clone head. That was a very lazy thing to do. Now we have Han Solo with the new hairpiece. Before, they just had kind of the comb over, which looked nothing like Han's hair. So I'm glad they got him the new hairpiece. This has been out for like a little while now. There's a few other sets that the new hairpiece comes in. And so this is a fairly cheap way to get the new hairpiece. Because I think the only other set that the hairpiece comes in is the Death Star, which is a super expensive set. And guaranteed he's wearing his normal clothes, but this is the only way to get that hairpiece super cheap. If you just have his old normal clothes, you can just switch it out and put it on. And he has handcuffs because he's tied up on the desert skiff here. And I really like the torso printing. It looks like he just came out of carbonite with all those wrinkles and kind of gray detailing. And the kind of just ragged, rough looking. Sadly, it's just plain brown legs. Nothing special there. Wish they would have done like maybe a belt printing on it or something. Moving around to the back, sadly there's no printing. And it's not like the printing they could do was really hard. It's basically just doing the same wrinkle printing they did on the front. So I don't know why they didn't do that. I'm really disappointed there. And then his faces, he has this one worried face. And let's take off the hair to see the other face. But let's just take a closer look at this hair. It's really well done. Super well molded, wavy. Just looks a lot more Han Solo-y than the other previous hair. And then this is his second face, which is his frozen in carbonite face, which actually looks really funny. And, I mean, it's not really in context to this set because when this time rolls around in the movie, he's already out of the carbonite. So, I mean, this face really doesn't feel necessary. They should have put, like, some action face on it where he's, like, angry or frustrated while he's fighting. Or scared because he realizes that Boba Fett's there or something. But, I mean, it's still a funny face to have on him. And by the way, that gun on the Skiff is meant to be his gun. Yep, now it's Chewbacca. And something I just want to point out is I don't like the shading detailing on the fur. I think they did way too dark colored fur. They should have gone with the lighter fur that they traditionally do. They basically just used the kind of old Chewie that they use in the Force Awakens sets, which I don't understand why they did that. I think they should have gone back to using light color. Maybe if they added that color on the fur, detailing that second color, but then had it be the light brown and not the dark brown, like the light brown here on the deck of the Skiff. That's what they used to use for Chewbacca, and I think they should have done that. I think this Chewbacca just looks kind of weird and too dark, and they put some of the wavy printing on his legs as well. He's handcuffed too, and taking off his handcuffs and putting them back on is really hard because of this big fur piece, and if we just take that off, which is actually kind of hard to do with the handcuffs on, so in order for me to show that, I have to take off the handcuffs. You can see that he just has a plain brown torso here, but I'm fine with that because it's covered up. And this is just one big piece, and that makes him a little taller. And it also has the silver bandolier printing around it. If you know, Chewbacca has that silver bandolier, so it has that printing going around the front and the back there. Though the printing doesn't really look that good, and it looks really faded and worn out, it makes it look like this is kind of an old minifig. So either it's intentionally done that way, or they just printed it really badly. But either way, I don't like it. This Chewbacca is probably my least favorite minifig in the set, and like I said to you, it's possible to get these handcuffs back on. There we go, I just did it. Be proud of me. But yeah, I feel like they shouldn't have gone with the dark brown Chewbacca with the weird fur printing, but I mean, and then the bandolier printing just seems really lazy, so I mean, yeah, he's definitely my least favorite minifig in the set, but I decided I'd show him after Han Solo because, you know, Han Solo and Chewie, they're together. Now, last we have the Skiff guard, and for what he is, I think he's decent. There are a few flaws, though. My biggest complaint, like my first complaint, definitely not my biggest, though, is I think they should have double molded the legs. Because you can see the dark nougat carries over onto the brown here, and the printing seems kind of thin and hollow, and the brown kind of carries over. Plus, then, that kind of carryover isn't shown on the back or sides, so I think they should have double molded his legs. And while we're here, you can see there's quite an intricate pattern on his tunic, I'm going to call it. And then he also has that double belt there. And you can see these hair bits there, which seem kind of random. But no, it's these two braids continuing over. I think they should have just kept it to the back like they've done with previous and not have it go over to the front. Then there's just one in the back. So, I mean, that's not done very well. Those hair pieces, those braids there just seem kind of out of place. And that makes the back of the head look funky. I think they should have done what they've done with previous Skiff guards where all the hair just goes down the back because that looks a lot better. But then the front of the head, I really like it. It's a weird wrinkly face that those Skiff guards have. Kind of hollow looking eyes. And then he has this big axe pole arm thing. It's basically just one of those big staff pieces with an axe connected to the wrong end. So I like the way that looks. It's pretty cool. And then he has tan arms and the weird orangish, brownish, dark orange, whatever color it's called, for the hands to match his head. So overall, I think this set is decent, though it is lacking a few minifigs, but the minifigs it does have are pretty good. The Sarlacc is... it's not good, but the sail barge itself is pretty good. There's just a few minor flaws, but it's nothing that I'm going to hate this set for, but overall, I think it's a pretty good set. That's all, and peace.